Today, we are diving into a paper with an awesome title. Language models are Super Mario. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. The whole idea is that an AI can absorb new abilities, just like our favorite plumber grabbing a mushroom, and it can do it for free. Let's see how they pull it off.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The big problem in AI development has always been this. Teaching a large language model a new skill, say getting it really good at math or coding, is super expensive and takes forever. You're talking about massive amounts of data and these crazy powerful GPUs running for days, maybe even weeks.
So, the way we usually do this is something called supervised fine tuning. The best way to think about it is like you're sending a general AI to med school. It comes out an expert doctor, for sure. But in the process, it's kind of forgotten everything else, like how to do your taxes. It's just not a scalable way to make a single AI that can be both a doctor and an accountant.
And that brings us to the big breakthrough in this paper. It's a technique they call DARE, which stands for drop and rescale. And trust me, this simple idea completely changes the game.
Okay, but before we can get into how DARE works, we gotta talk about something called delta parameters. See, when you fine-tune a model, you aren't rewriting it from scratch. You're just nudging and tweaking its settings. The delta is just the difference, the literal changes between the original model and the new specialist. It's basically the pure concentrated knowledge of that new skill.
Now, the DARE technique itself is, well, it's shockingly simple. Just 2 steps. First, you take those delta parameters, that new skill, and you just throw most of them away. You randomly set their values to 0. Then, for the few that are left, you just crank up their values to compensate. And the wildest part? You can do all of this on a regular old computer CPU. No fancy GPUs needed.
I know, that sounds way too good to be true, right? How can you just delete most of a new skill and expect the AI to remember it? Well, let's take a look at the proof the researchers came up with.
All right, get ready for this number because it's pretty wild. The researchers discovered you can get rid of up to 99% of those delta parameters, the new knowledge, and see almost no drop in performance. What that tells us is that the way these models learn is just incredibly redundant. And this chart right here is the proof in the pudding. It's showing a model's performance on math problems. Just look at that green line. That's the biggest model. As they drop more and more parameters moving from left to right, the accuracy stays almost totally flat. Even when 99% of the new math knowledge is gone, it's still an A-plus student.
So how is this even possible? What's the secret sauce here? Well, it all comes back to that second step, rescaling. The paper says it loud and clear. That part is absolutely crucial. You can't just drop the parameters and call it a day. You have to amplify the signal of what's left.
And this slide just makes it so obvious. The top lines, that's DARE in action, holding strong. But those bottom lines, that's what happens if you only drop. Performance just nosedives. That rescaling step is what keeps the model's new superpower alive and kicking.
So now we get to the really cool part. Because you've trimmed all this fat, you can do something amazing. Merge different specialist models together. Before, if you tried to smash a math model and a code model together, it was a mess. They'd conflict and get confused. But with DARE, you first get rid of all the unnecessary junk, leaving just the core skills. And then they merge together perfectly.
And the results are honestly mind-blowing. Look at the chart on the right. This shows a model that merged general knowledge, math skills, and coding skills. And get this, in some cases, the new merged model is actually better at math than the original math expert was. It's not just adding a skill, it's like the whole system gets an upgrade.
Okay, this is all very cool in a lab, but what does it actually mean for the real world? This is where it goes from a neat trick to a major breakthrough.
This is where things get really exciting. The implications here are just huge. Think about it. No GPUs, no long retraining times. It means almost anyone can become a sort of AI alchemist. You can download specialist models from the internet and start mixing and matching skills on your own laptop to create totally new custom AI agents. This just blows the doors wide open for who can build powerful AI.
And if you're thinking this is just a cool research project, think again. Here is the ultimate proof. A model built with this exact DARE technique, and they perfectly nicknamed it Super Mario, didn't just do well. It took the #1 spot on the Open LLM leaderboard for its size. It beat out models that were trained the old, slow, expensive way. All right, so
as amazing as this all sounds, we do need to talk about the limits. It's not a complete magic wand. At least, not yet. The authors are pretty upfront that this free lunch has one big condition. This trick works best when you're merging models that come from the same family. Think of them as close relatives that share the same foundation. If a specialist model has changed too dramatically from its base, then this elegant technique kind of falls apart.
So that leaves us with this one kind of wild final thought. This research basically turns specialized AI skills into plug-and-play modules. So are we walking into an era where anyone can become an AI alchemist, blending logic, art, and code to create completely new kinds of intelligence right from their own computer? It's a pretty incredible future to think about. This is for entertainment purposes only.